All right, we have a lot to cover tonight, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Welcome, everybody. Just so everybody knows, this is our last in-person meeting. The last three meetings that we have will be online, and you'll get links to those. But we wanted to try kind of a hybrid approach to these meetings, just see if we can get our attendance up. Last week we had, 79 people or something, which is the highest number I can remember. So it's been great having everybody in person. But the last three that we have will be online, just like the CFOA. So this is kind of what we're going to go through tonight. I just have some introductions. We'll do our rules quiz. Are there any new officials that were not here last time? New officials that weren't here last time? LA? Okay. So I'll just ask you to quick intro when we get to that slide. Have a few things from the first couple weeks of games. George has got a few videos for us. Mark's doing a presentation on judgment, and you should all have this sheet of paper that was by the door when you walked in. If you don't have that, make sure that you grab one of those. And make sure you get signed in on the sign-in sheet. And then we'll do the 50-50 drawing. If crews want to meet after that, that's up to your crew chief. So go ahead and get started. Just by way of the board for CSFOA, I'm the president. Kay Linda is the vice president. Is Kay Linda here? No. Okay. Secretary Treasurer is Dean Rook, back here in the back in the orange shirt. He's the one that collects all the money for everything and keeps all of our minutes for meetings. Member at large, James Bunnell, you've been buying 50-50 tickets from James back here. If you have any issues, yeah, that's right. Last time to get 50-50. Yeah, we can send you Venmos for online 50-50. So if anybody has any issues with anything in the association and you don't feel comfortable coming to me or your crew chief or anything, James is your point of contact. So any issues that you have and you want to bring up with him, he's your guy. Scott Samsel is our assigner. So these last two are sort of unofficial board positions. But Scott Samsel is the one that divides all of our games out and makes everything even and makes our seasons run really smoothly. So he also fills in games when crew chiefs can't put a crew together for any given game or something gets changed last minute. Scott's the guy, and he does an amazing job at that. And then our training director is Mark Bradley. Welcome back, Mark. He's going to be doing our presentation tonight. So, and then all of our crew chiefs, the rest of the crew chiefs are also board members. So that's our board. All right. Going to do our online rules quiz. So that's our QR code. You can scan that with your phone. If you don't want to scan it, you can go to that URL there. And I'm not going to play tonight because I won last time. I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. Actually, I copied all the answers and everything, so I'd be cheating if I did that. All right, how are we looking, Eric?
14 in right now. 23. 28. 33, 34. I'm called on like 10 seconds or something.
Anybody still connecting? Got a few still connecting. Still got time to join the quiz.
was waiting on you, Jimmy.
Yeah, we were waiting on you, Jimmy. Come on, get in.
go, Jimmy.
I'm hustling.
Showing you how he knows back judge. All right, how we doing? Good. All right, Eric, take it away.
All right, we'll get started then. Make sure your phones are on. Not too many tricks here, but fastest fingers will get the points. Here we go. Five seconds to go. 5-person crew. And 26 correct with umpire on a 5-person crew, stretching that downfield chain if we have to have a measurement. Hopefully we're not having too many of those, but the umpire's got that. All right, leaderboard. Jim Ferks. All right.
I didn't whisper the answer.
4 to go. Here we go. Next question. Talking goal line responsibility, 5-person mechanics.
So I see questions on the screen as numbers.
And 5 seconds. Inside the B10, wings have that goal line responsibility, 5-person mechanics. 35 correct. Good job. Leaderboard. Minor changes there. Good deal. Going question 3. Last couple seconds here. B32, so this highlights the fumble forward out of bounds, returns to the spot of the fumble, which was the B32 on that one. Good job. Leaderboard. Couple of changes there, and right at dead tie for first. All right, here we go. Next question. 4 or 5. This is quick. Hopefully everybody read all of the answer before clicking. There's a lot changing. Good job. So roughing the passer is one of the 4. So passer, kicker, snapper, holder. Roughing the runner could have a penalty, but roughing the runner itself is not a specific one. So good job. Leaderboard. Oh, change at the top. And 1 final to go. Good luck. Slightly longer here, a lot of words. Last couple seconds. Alright, so a little bit of a spread there. So 4th and 10, field goal attempt B25. If it's missed, it's treated as a scrimmage kick. So as soon as it breaks that plane of the end zone, it is a touchback by rule. So it would be 20 going the other direction. Final leaderboard. And there you go on your phones as well. 460 is the win today. Good job. So tonight was
Who's
getting
that? Who won?
Jorge.
Jorge. George. Did you play?
Does he even know how to use a phone?
He's got his phone, so.
So tonight is about getting technology to work and making sure everybody's got AHA slides figured out. So next time around, watch for the tricky wording and tongue twisters and things like that.
All right.
Good job, everybody.
Good job, Mark. All right, so we have one new official here tonight that was not here last time to introduce himself. So, LA.
Hey, good evening, everyone. My name's Alan Rowling. Come here by way of Fort Hood, Texas, but I'm originally from Middle Tennessee. I've been here in Colorado for a little bit over a year. I'm currently stationed out at Tree Space Force Base, but I'm not Space Force. I'm Army, so that's cool. If anybody's Space Force, I'm sorry. But all kidding aside, before I joined the Army in Tennessee for about 4 years, I officiated state at college and played college football. Did every position but white hat, so when finally got into a position in an assignment in the Army that would allow me to do stuff like this, I got back into officiating football. And any indication of how long I've been in the Army. When I left to join the Army, we were still wearing knickers, so that's and then I also officiated wrestling too.
Anybody else new official that did not introduce themselves last week? Okay. Cool. All right, so we can review. These are just some of the observations. This was not an observation from the first couple weeks, but this is one that we just always want to harp on. Personal foul versus unsportsmanlike conduct. And multiple people goof this up every year. We get game reports where guys are ejected, and it turns out one or both fouls were not unsportsmanlike, they were personal fouls. So we have to understand the difference between an unsportsmanlike conduct foul and a personal foul. So personal fouls involve contact. Even if something is unsporting, if it involves contact, it is a personal foul. Okay, so don't report to your white hat, I have an unsportsmanlike late hit, right? Because those two are very different things. All right. So if it involves contact, it's personal foul. Unsportsmanlike fouls are no contact, so they involve words, they involve taunting, those kinds of things. Those are unsportsmanlike conduct fouls. If they do both in the same act, we're going to go with one unsportsmanlike and no personal foul. So we're only going to give them one foul. We're going to go the greater of the fouls, and that's what we're going to. So there's only one foul if they do both. If they have multiple players that are doing an unsportsmanlike act, like if you see in the NFL, they score a touchdown, they get down on the ground and they row a boat, and there's 6 of them, right? We're not going to march off 6 unsportsmanlike penalties on the kickoff. We're going to give each player involved in unsportsmanlike, they get penalized for one of those on the succeeding spot. Okay, so just so you're clear on that. All right. So just a reminder, in high school, removing your helmet on the field is not an unsportsmanlike foul like it is at some of the other levels. All right. So if a player rips his helmet off and he gets mad, he rips his helmet off or whatever, that is not a foul in high school. When we have an unsportsmanlike conduct foul, every crew member needs to write that down. Okay, because this is critically important that we know if there's a second unsportsmanlike conduct foul on the same player, could be on a coach. All right, so every crew member needs to write that down. If we're going to eject somebody for a second unsportsmanlike conduct foul, we need everybody to come together and verify what you've got written on your cards to make sure that we're doing the right thing. All right? So make sure everybody's writing these down. Just as an aside, while we're talking about ejections, we need to be really sure that we have an ejectable offense if we're going to eject somebody. So, this comes up every year again. If we've got a situation where we think a punch is thrown or there's fighting, we need to make sure that it's really fighting, that it's really a punch, and it's not a shove or it's not a hit with the hands or something to the chest or anything like that, even up in the face mask. Okay? It has to look like a swing, like a punch, before we're going to call something fighting. Okay. So even if the unsportsmanlike foul's offset, again, we need to record all the players involved, write their numbers down, make sure that we get those. Those have to go on game reports. If you're doing a game report, you're the white hat. We need that. We need those unsportsmanlikes recorded on the game report. If it's a middle school game or a sub-varsity game, we don't need the unsportsmanlike. We don't need the game report unless there's an ejection. Okay, so sub-varsity, we are only doing game reports on ejections. All right? But again, just make sure we're recording all the unsportsmanlike fouls. If you do end up with a disqualification, make sure you get the coach's or the player's name, maybe the coach's name before you proceed with the game. You can probably get it after the fact on Max Preps or something like that. But we want to get the coach to tell us the name of the player so we can write it down. Again, everybody write it down so we make sure we know who it was that was ejected. If the coach is just really pissed and he's not going to give you the name, then just let it go. We'll get the name for Max Preps or something like that. All right. Any questions or any other thoughts, George? Anybody else? Okay. All right. Timeouts. So when a timeout is requested, that's not when the timeout starts. So if the clock's running, coach asks for a timeout, we give him a timeout. A 1 to 2 second gap in there is okay. And he might complain about that, but we're stopping the clock when we grant the timeout, not when he requests it. Okay. If they do request a timeout in advance of the play, they say, hey, when this play's over, I want a timeout. Then we're going to try and get that right when that ball becomes dead, and we're going to try and set the clock to that time when that ball became dead, because he's going to ask for it right away, and we should be signaling, those wings should be signaling that timeout right at the end of the play. Okay. For scoreboard errors, don't stop the game to fix the score or the down and distance or anything else. The only time we're going to stop the game is when there's a time issue that needs to be corrected. All right? The referee is the official scorer in the game technically. So if the score is wrong on the scoreboard, the referee needs to make sure that he's got the score right and don't worry about what's on the scoreboard. Okay? If you can get it fixed in between plays or at the end of a quarter or something like that, do that. All right. This is just something from last year. All footballs used in the game must have an NFHS logo. So just when you do your pregame, make sure you're looking at the balls that they're using. Anytime you get the ball in a clean ball in from the sideline, just check it. If it looks funny, make sure it's got an NFHS logo on it. There's about 3 different ways that they put them on there. Just if it has the NFHS, no matter what else it has on it, it's legal because it could have NCAA and some other things on it. Okay, so that NFHS logo. If a team shows up to the game and they don't have any NFHS logo football games, we're not going to make them forfeit the game. Let them play the game, write it in the game report, turn it in that way. Okay. So non-player fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct enforcement. So this is a situation that we had. You can probably read it, but for those in the back, I'll just read it. In a C game, the game time expired during an interception return. So we had an interception return. He was running it back. Time expired at the end of the game. And the defense was flagged for sideline interference. So the intercepting team was flagged for sideline interference during the return. By rule, the game's over, okay? But the penalty was incorrectly enforced as a live ball foul. From the previous spot, they ran an untimed down, and the team scored the touchdown to win the game. So the incorrect enforcement on that allowed that team to win the game. The game should have been over. And who can tell me why the game should have been over? Say it again. Somebody said it. Okay, so we have a non-player foul. Okay, non-player fouls and unsportsmanlike conducts are enforced as what? Dead ball fouls. So it's just like the foul. Even if the foul occurs during the play, it's just like the foul occurred after the play was over for non-player fouls and unsportsmanlike conduct fouls. So what would happen if that sideline, or if you had a foul after the play was over at the end of the game? What would you do?
Go home.
You'd go home, right? There's no succeeding spot. The game's over. All right. So that's the way we want to enforce that if we have that situation. Okay.
You can't penalize it on the kickoff in the next week.
In the next game, yeah.
That's what you tell the coach. You need to tell her after next game.
You start back. All right. We need everybody checking the down on every play. And this seems a little trivial, but it can rear its ugly head in some very conspicuous situations. All right. We had a case where the linesman thought the third down play was fourth down. The end of the play, moved the chains, reset, changed the clip before anybody noticed. And then they had to try and figure out where it was and where fourth down was supposed to be. So you can imagine the length of time that it takes to figure that out and how that looks. Okay. We had another situation where on a long run or on a run for a first down, it was right at the line to gain. The line judge signals first down. The referee signals first down. The head linesman thought it was short, so kept it as second down, didn't move the chains. Another play ran before anybody figured it out. And then they said, "Oh crap, we got the wrong chains here." And then they had to get together again. It just looks it looks bad. We want to get those things figured out. So if everybody just has, as part of their pregame snap, verify the down, every single down, with another official, so we don't run into those situations. Okay, if we get somebody that's questioning the down, just stop the clock, come in, talk about it, get it figured out, make sure we know what we're doing, and then go back and run the play. All right. All right, sub-varsity high school game timing. Shasta has basically dictated that sub-varsity quarters are going to be 10-minute quarters. Middle school is different. This is high school sub-varsity, okay? 10-minute quarters. If they do an advance notice, they get together and they say, "Hey, we want to play 12s," and they notify the referee, "Hey, we're going to play 12-minute quarters. We've agreed on this." Then you can run 12-minute quarters. Otherwise, if they just show up and say, "Hey, we're going to do this," no, it's 10-minute quarters. All right? Halftime needs to be 10 minutes by rule. Halftime cannot be shortened to less than 10 minutes.
10 plus 3.
10 plus 3. It's not 7 plus 3. It's 10 minutes plus the 3 minute. Okay? So that's a safety rule, and it's one of those where if both coaches at the end of the half or at start the game say, "Hey, we want to go 7-3 at halftime," you're probably going to go 7-3 at halftime. But you can tell them, "Hey, it's a safety thing. We need to go 10 minutes. If you want to go 7, that's up to you." All right. So just don't shorten that halftime. Unless unless both coaches are just like, "No, we're going to go 7. Okay. But that 3 minute, don't ever waive that 3 minute. If both teams are on the field and they're ready to kick off and there's 2 minutes of that 3 minutes left on there, you're just going to stand there. Back judge or head linesman, whoever's got kickers, do not hand the ball to the kicker with any of that 3 minutes still on the clock. Okay? Any questions about that? All right. All right. Slow down. Special air signals at the ends of touchdowns and things like that. Okay. We had a long run. Back judge did a great job of getting to the goal line and signaled touchdown. At the same time, the head linesman was marking the out of bounds spot at B1. Okay. So we do have crew signal. I think it's J, whatever that is. Punching in on the sideline is telling that back judge that my guy was not out of bounds. The ball did not go out of bounds short of the goal line. Okay. Now we should have a whistle on that, and killing the clock should be part of that. But that signal is confirmation to the back judge. Back judges, look up for that signal before you signal touchdown. If you look up and he's not giving you that signal and he's not blowing his whistle, then go ahead and go and signal touchdown. But that little bit of delay in there is going to keep us from doing things like this. All right?
Not giving you a signal touchdown?
If he's not giving you a signal because he's just running down and he's got his head down, I know it's hard to believe that some people might do that. But if he's not giving you a signal and you've waited for a second and he's not giving you a signal, then you can go ahead and go up. Because you figure by that time he's either going to blow his whistle or the guy was in bounds. Okay? You can't necessarily rely on that wing to give that signal. All right, but if he doesn't blow his whistle after a second or two, you can be pretty sure that you've got a touchdown. Go ahead and give the signal. All right, that delay in there is not going to irritate anybody. All right, it's not going to look like, oh, he doesn't know what he's doing. It's just a delay. It's a nice, smooth, go up, signal your touchdown. Just don't be in a hurry. Okay, slow down. All right. George has some interesting videos for us now.
Okay, thank you.
There we go.
Okay, so this was shown on the WebEx last week, and the answer was either incorrect or confusing. So we're just going to show it again. Okay.
This is a little quirk in the rules. Watch him. He's going to step out of bounds first. That puts the
Okay, so the NFL rule is different than the high school rule. If a player goes out intentionally, like this guy obviously did, then that is a foul for illegal participation. That does not mitigate the fact that the ball was not touched in bounds by a player. So in high school, you'd have offsetting fouls there. You'd have illegal participation on the receiving team and a free kick out of bounds on the kicking team. Okay? It's likely not going to happen. Very few high school kids have the wherewithal to do what this guy did. Okay? So that's just a point of clarification from the WebEx.
George, if you ruled, say it happened slightly different, and you ruled that it wasn't intentional, that you just
Yeah, that's a judgment call. As to
then
whether
you only enforce the kick out of bounds.
Right. Okay, the next thing I have is a still photo, and it's not a great photo because the sun is right in the camera. Can you blow it up even more? Okay, so what we have here is these guys are going to kick off to the left, and we have two guys, one standing on the line and the other one standing behind the line. We should not let that kickoff proceed with these guys in an illegal formation. First of all, the back judge should have not raised his hand until they were all legally in position. And if the guy steps back, just stop it and tell him to move up or to get in the right position and then do the ready for play over again. Okay, just basic preventive officiating. Next. Okay, we're going to look at this play and I'll explain what it is, and then we're going to have a vote on three things. Okay, so what we had was a pass. It'll play again. We had a pass intercepted at the 8-yard line, His momentum carried him into the end zone where he fell. Okay, go ahead and show it one more time. Okay, so there's three choices here theoretically. How many have that as a safety? How many have it as a touchback? How many have it as momentum with the ball at the 8-yard line? All right, so the momentum rule does not apply because it wasn't inside the 5-yard line. So we immediately eliminate that. Okay, they signaled touchback. They are incorrect. There's no way that that's a touchback. The ball was forced into the end zone by the intercepting team and became dead there. So that is a safety. A very, very hard sell. And you're going to have a conversation with the coach. But that is a safety by rule, and there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Okay, so again, it's because it wasn't inside the 5-yard line that you intercepted the ball.
Right.
So therefore, the momentum goes up.
The momentum rule does not apply. I tried to trick everybody by using the word momentum, and I only got one taker. Okay?
Okay, so basically, we're saying that he intentionally went back into the end zone.
Well, it wasn't intentional, but
It's always not.
he didn't really want to do it, but he did. Okay. All right, next play. The issue on this one is, do we have a horse collar tackle? Look on the bottom of your screen. Okay, so the hair doesn't count. That's not part of the collar. Okay, and even if he got the collar under the hair, that's still not a horse collar tackle. Go ahead and play it again, because although there's a tug there, the force that put the guy out of bounds was the teammate number 23. Okay, any questions on anything so far? Okay, now we get to the prime video here, and this is going to take a while because there's a lot of possibilities here. It's hard to see because of the lights.
Yeah, can we dim the lights?
Yeah, hit those switches on the right, I think.
Oh, well, much better. Go ahead and play it a couple of times. We have about 5 different rules and 3 different issues that come into play on this.
Yeah, is an incomplete pass.
Yeah, we're just going to complete new foul.
Okay, so the first issue is we can see that the player the receiver went out of bounds. Was he blocked out of bounds?
Dead ball as soon as he touches it.
That would be a reasonable judgment. A block is defined as any contact, and there definitely was shoulder contact there. So even in the replay reviews, if the 2 players are contacting each other's body, that's considered blocking the guy out of bounds. So he was blocked out of bounds. He took 3 steps out of bounds and then jumped back inbounds. Is 3 steps considered returning to the field immediately?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. There shouldn't be any question about that. So now who would like to raise their hand and offer the result of the play? Yes.
So I don't think he ever established himself back in bounds. So his catch is out of bounds, landing in bounds. I think it's a complete pass.
Okay, everybody hear that?
Jump.
So what he did is he jumped from out of bounds, and at least his right foot was out of bounds when he went into the air, and he touched the ball before getting a foot down inbounds. Therefore, as soon as he touches the ball is dead and the pass is incomplete. And you cannot have illegal participation even if you rule that he went out on his own because he never returned to the field. He touched the ball, but it was dead as soon as he touched it.
If he gets that left foot inbounds, jumps up from his left foot, catches it, comes down inbounds, then he's established in.
Yeah.
Now it's a
In
catch.
order to reestablish in bounds, once he goes out of bounds, he has to get a foot down inbounds, and then the other foot cannot be touching out of bounds. So if the left foot was in and the right foot was in the air, he would have established in bounds. Okay, so now we go into the what ifs. What if he had gotten his left foot down before he touched the ball? Volunteer.
You saying his right foot's still out?
The left foot is down, the right foot is in the air, and he touches the ball. If he catches it,
Yes.
okay?
Assuming that everything is
If he caught it, it would be a touchdown, okay? If it fell incomplete, it would still be an incomplete pass.
But you'd have illegal participation, right?
Well, the illegal participation is negated once you rule that he was blocked out of bounds.
If he wasn't, yeah, okay.
Okay. So then we can go on and on with a couple of other scenarios. We're not likely to see this. I don't know what they ended up doing. And by the way, you can have a great mechanics debate over whether that was the line judge's call because the sideline was involved, or whether that was the back judge's call. My preference would be talk about it before you do anything. Okay? Any questions on that? Yes.
You keep talking about the put down. What if he drug a toe in the same scenario? Is that inbounds?
Where does he drag the toe?
Same thing. His right foot's up. He drags his left foot clearly in bounds and makes the catch. He doesn't have to have the whole foot down. He drags the toe. That's still a touchdown.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Unless he accidentally drags his right foot out of bounds.
Out of bounds. I see that.
All right. So this is our participation part of the presentation. Mark is going to lead us through some things on judgment. You should all have a sheet with this sheet. If you came in late and didn't grab one of those, grab one of those. Make sure you have a pen. And take it away, Mark.
All right, I lost a bet. It's coming off because I'm overheating. And also because September is the only month when this jersey is significant. After September, it doesn't matter, right?
Plus, you don't want to get a concussion wearing that.
Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Thanks to Tim, thanks to Mark Van Gampler for helping me put this together. You should each have a sheet and something to write with. Finger, okay. And this has to go fast. So what you're gonna do is we're gonna watch each video twice without commenting. So I will tell you who to focus on. Then we're gonna watch the video twice. Nobody comment. Try not to ooh and ah. And then I want you to write down, do you have a foul or do you not have a foul? And the punchline is, if you have a foul or don't have a foul, you need to be able to articulate why. So you can't just say, yeah, it's not a foul. So I'm only going to give you about a minute per clip, so you need to go fast. So first of all, foul or no foul. Second is articulate why. Why? What would you say to a coach if he complained about you throwing the flag or complained about you not throwing the flag? So try to use rules book words. All right, next. So in this video, this is up in Elizabeth, we are going to focus on the right tackle in this clip. Go ahead. We'll show it one more time. The right tackle, do you have a foul or do you not have a foul? And why? Take about 30 more seconds to articulate. I'm a coach. I either wanted a flag when you didn't throw it, or I didn't want a flag when you threw it, and you need to articulate your decision. All right, 10 more seconds. Next video, please. Okay, in this video, we're looking at the center right here. He's the one snapping the ball. Go ahead and run it, please. Do you have a foul or no foul? Run it again, please. And try to use rules book words if you can. Or we're going to talk about officiating standards. We're going to talk about principles. If you wanted to use standards or principles as well to make your case, go ahead and do that. 10 more seconds. Okay, next video. We are going to focus on this left tackle here. And I want you to make a decision about the location of this defensive end right here. So the action is going to be this left tackle on the defensive end. Go ahead and play it. You have a foul, no foul, and why are you making your decision? One more time? One more time, please, Tim. Thank you. Okay, next video. We're going to focus the runner's going to come this way, and we're going to focus on a block at approximately the beat 40 on the line judge's side of the field. Go ahead. Are you throwing your flag? Are you holding your flag? And why? Sorry, Bunny, I'm in your way, aren't I? Why are you making that decision? you hear the request from your guy?
I was waiting for you to grant it.
That's my chops, man, Mark.
I said what he loved. All right, next video. We are focusing on this player right here. This is a quick video, so we'll show it 3 or 4 times. This player right here. You have a foul, no foul, and how are you going to articulate to the coach why you did throw a flag or why you did not throw a flag? All right, next slide, our next video. Okay, on this play, we're going to focus on the quarterback. He's going to be flushed out of the pocket and will be tackled at approximately this location on the field. Go ahead. One more time. Okay, next video. We're going to focus on a runner coming along the sideline on the line judge's side of the field, and the action will happen at about this location. You have a flag on that play? If you do not, why? If you do, why?
Can we see it one more time?
Yes. Okay, next video. This is a little difficult to see, I understand, I realize. The scrimmage kick is going to come down at about here, and we're looking at a gunner on the side of the field, and we're looking at the proximity of that gunner to the receiver on this play. One more time. See, people are writing, that's good. Give you some time. One more time, please. Thank you, Tim. Okay, next video. All right, this one is the receiver On the line judge's side here, we're going to focus on this matchup right here. One more time, please. Okay, two more. We're going to focus on the quarterback, and the defender comes from this side, I believe. No, came from the right side. I apologize. We'll show it. So the defender comes from the right side. The hit on the quarterback is what we're looking at. One more time. Do I have a foul? If I'm the referee, do I have no foul? And what words will I use to articulate to a coach who does not agree with my decision?
You did it one more time.
Yes, thank you for asking. One more time, please. Okay, the final video is this is the kicker. We're gonna look at a player coming from the right side of the formation and coming across. The kicker is gonna be running in a rugby style kick, and go ahead and play it. We'll do it one more time. All right, I'm going to flip the lights up just while I talk so I can see everybody's faces okay. Can we go back to the slide deck?
We're already in it. Never left it.
All right, thank you. All right, so this is a lesson on judgment, and there is a science of officiating called the rules book, and there's an art of officiating, and that is judgment. So we're going to talk about the components of judgment. Now, one of the precepts here is there's a difference between real time on the football field and being able to watch a video 20 times in slow motion in huddle. We've all been there. We've all been there where we thought we made a great call, and then the next day or the day after we look at it in huddle and say, yeah, I screwed that up. So I want to acknowledge that first. And one of the things about being a good official is being able to receive constructive criticism without getting butthurt, and being able to look at video and say, yeah, I screwed that up. And I'm learning. Everybody, I've made the same mistake, more than a handful of times. Any mistake that has been made in this room, I have made. So let's go into this conversation realizing that officiating is a human endeavor. And because we're not robo umpires, there are going to be mistakes. Some fouls will scream. Many fouls do not. And that's why we have to apply discernment We have to make practice decision making. And it is true that in this room we have multiple personalities. Some of us are very draconian, black and white. If this is what the rule book says, then I'm going to apply the rules. Others are let them play. And I'm a member of multiple online Facebook groups and chats. And I've heard people say, what you permit is what you promote. And I hate that saying. Because you will permit a foul using proper judgment based on principles and standards and axioms. And we're going to talk about that right now. Next slide, please. So there has to be solid rules knowledge that underpins good judgment. If I asked you to put a $10 bill on the table and then write down all of the components of a horse collar tackle, or else you lose the $10, would you do it? Or hurdling? Or if I asked you to tell me about PSK, post-scrimmage kick foul enforcement, would you be able to bet $10 that you could get those components? So I would like to challenge us all as football officials to not slumber on the rules. Don't say, I don't need to know the rules, because all I want to do is have fun, and the referee should know the rules. So the rules book the rule components will underpin our judgment. If we don't know the definition of a hurdle, how can we rule and judge whether or not the action was hurdling if we cannot even articulate what the rules book says? So if you are not in the rules book, if you haven't cracked it, then I will say shame on you, and please do it and get into the rules book. We also have what I call axioms. I don't know if that's the right word. I got that word from George. He's a Yankees fan, so it's probably wrong. But there are certain axioms that we use. Did the defender attempt to wrap up, or did he simply deliver a blow? I know Mark Van Gampler doesn't like that, so you don't have to, you can discard that. How many steps did the defender take to the quarterback? Did a defender demonstrate restriction? Is there demonstrated restriction at the point of attack that impacts the play? You don't see those words in the rules book, but we use those words to fill in some spaces in our understanding. And did the punter use a rugby-style kick? Next slide. We also use officiating standards. The NCAA has put their officiating standards in their rules book. We do not have officiating standards, but in our rules book, where do we have some officiating standards? Where can we find them? In our mechanics manual. In our mechanics manual, it's full of officiating standards. So if you're not reading your mechanics manual, you're losing out on a lot of this filler. We call it winning question. So here are some examples of officiating standards that are not in the rules book, but they help us adjudicate a play. Putting the ball in a hash to start a new series. Is it a false start or illegal motion? We want to shut it down, call it a false start. If a player is illegally blocked into or held into making a tackle, we don't flag it. And finally, obvious and intentional takedowns. And was that a test question this season? That was a test question. Obvious or intentional takedowns. Do you have a question?
Yeah. So if the player is illegally blocked or held into making a tackle, no foul should be called. There was a test question that said any holding penalty that goes to the ground should be called, and the answer is yes on that test. However, as we'll see from the video, this axiom kind of negates that. Yeah. Because there was a test question that said anytime a holding penalty occurs to the ground, it needs to be called.
I don't remember that. I think they use the word takedown in the test, but let's talk about that.
Right, so my answer to the coach would be, well, on the test.
Yeah, we'll talk about it when we get. Okay, next slide. So we have the rules book, we have axioms, we have officiating standards, we have when in question from the mechanics manual. One of the other components of good judgment is being in the correct position to make the call. We talk about wings being on the money lines, the line to gain or the goal line. We talk about the back judge being on the goal line before the ball arrives. We talk about eye discipline with pass plays, and I'm watching a lot of huddle because I don't work, and I'm still seeing officials staring into the dang backfield, I don't curse, into the damn backfield when their key is running down the field. Why are we doing that still? We have to discipline ourselves to look at what we're supposed to look at. And I still see officials, the ball is kicked on a free kick, and the official's doing this. Or seeing an official from the line judge position wind the clock when the receiver touches the ball in the middle of the field. So we need to make sure that we understand what we're supposed to be looking at. We're in the proper place to earn the credibility to make the call. And that's by reading our mechanics manual. And then here's an axiom, Ray Lutz, begin, middle, and end. That we have to see the beginning of the play, the middle of the play, and the end of the play. If you see a player go flying by you and the coaches behind you are screaming for a foul, your flag should not come out of your pocket unless you know how did that player go flying. Could have been a legal block. And I've seen teammates hit each other and it's a complete train wreck, and an official throws a flag because he sees the very end of the play. All right? If you think it's a foul, it's not. If you think something happened, it didn't happen. You have to know. And don't be that official that throws the phantom flag where, yes, all of us in this room have thrown a flag and looked in huddle and said, yeah, that was wrong. But some have a reputation for throwing phantom flags. Next slide. So officiating is not black and white. That's why we get paid the big bucks, because there's a lot of gray. We want to make it big, call elephants and not ants. And Ray Lutz added, I think, zebras? No. Elephants, ants, and something else. I wrote a Ready for Play article on that. Did the foul materially impact the play? The context is important. I will say, for the record, those of you that want to work playoffs, you are being evaluated. So if the score is 100-0 and you believe it's right to pass on a big holding call, don't pass on the big holding call, because you are being evaluated, and you do not want that evaluator to say this guy doesn't know what holding is because it's 100-0. If it's a sub-varsity game, don't throw on it. Flag safety. But in a varsity game, if you are playoff eligible and your crew chief forwarded your name for consideration, you need to be precise. But context is important. A 7th grade game is different than Pine Creek Valor Christian as far as false starts or movement, that kind of thing. We are not the penalty police. It's not our job to flag every foul by rule. If we did, we'd have a flag for holding on every play. Because by rule, the blocker's hands have to be inside his torso, and he has to contact the block player inside of his torso, or it is a foul. So we don't do that. And finally, if you are the type of person that only talks football, when you walk onto the field or when you're in a pregame locker room and that's the only time you talk football, shame on you. Because you are isolating yourself by saying, I'm just going to care about football for an hour and a half or for 2.5 hours once a week. And you are not going to get better. So find yourself a mentor, find yourself somebody that you can talk with, watch video, send plays to each other, because we don't get better if we just were by ourselves. That's Mark Bradley's opinion. Okay, let's go back to the videos. Oh, wait. We owe the coaches consistency. The coaches don't like it when one crew does one thing on Friday and the next Friday, the next crew does something completely different. So we need to be as consistent as possible on the crew, the two wings, and in our association and in our state. And the rules interpreter helps us. We'll talk about interpretations. The rules interpreter helps us, like, for example, what is the definition of immediate action at the snap for blocking below the waist? So the rules interpreter in Colorado gives us an interpretation that may not match other states. But in Colorado, that's what we're going to do. Inconsistency, if I was a coach and I had one ruling on one Friday and a different ruling on the next, I'd be really ticked off. Okay, next, let's go ahead back to the video. Okay, so video number 1. Raise your hand if you have a foul on this play. Raise your hand if you have a foul on this play. Okay, everybody look around. Put your hand down. Raise your hand if you do not have a foul on this play. So that's 50-50. 50-50. So that kind of proves that judgment, we're different. Now, if every one of you could underpin your judgment based on your knowledge of the rules, then good on you. And nobody can say your judgment is wrong if everything you gonculated was based on all of that, all of the rules and axioms and standards. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this right tackle. Okay, we froze it on purpose. So what rules, standards, axioms, philosophies do we employ for this play?
No restriction.
I'm sorry?
There was no restriction.
No restriction?
He took the play. He took the defender where the defender wanted to go.
Okay. Who else? AC.
This is the one that I have the most issue with because I agree there's no restriction, but the test question stuck in my brain and
Go fast.
his arms are outside the defender.
Okay. Arms are outside the defender. Anybody else? Go ahead. I'm sorry? The defender made the tackle at the point of a possible hold. What else?
Point of attack.
I'm sorry? It's at the point of attack, so that is one of the officiating axioms.
It didn't impact the play because the tackle was made.
It did impact the play because the tackle was made.
And at the same spot.
Okay, what else?
It's a takedown.
Okay, talk to me about that.
It's a takedown at the point of attack.
It is a takedown.
Out in the open.
Okay, so here is what we are saying in the state of Colorado is our credibility. I don't see. Are there any coaches in this room? No coaches. They don't hear our discussions. They don't know that we do this. By the way, that we take a night and have a meeting together. But in the state of Colorado, if we have a takedown and it's an obvious takedown, we will flag that, because if we don't, then our credibility could be undermined. So I agree with some of the statements where, okay, maybe it didn't impact the play because there was a tackle there. But George, are we flagging this based on your interpretation? Because
it's an obvious takedown hole out in the open. They will see it on film. the penalty's gonna be declined anyway,
Right.
so you might as well get credit for doing your job right.
Okay, so obvious takedowns in the state of Colorado, we're gonna get them. We're gonna get them. And this is an unpaid endorsement. I do a weekly dozen video every week. I'm gonna record it tomorrow and post it tomorrow or Thursday. And there's a play that shows a takedown. And it's not, the ball has not even been fielded. And one of the players grabs the opponent and throws him to the ground in the middle of the field. Okay, next. All right, raise your hand if you had a foul on this play. Raise your hand if you did not have a foul on this play. 50-50. 50-50. Okay, let's show it. Okay. What axioms, rules did you come up with, Riker?
That's a hole.
Why? You can't just say that's a hole.
Restricting defensive lineman's movement there.
Okay, what did you got there?
Like Riker said, he's grabbing his arm, he's twisting him backwards. So he's restricting.
Okay, Josh.
Another thing you can see is that the defensive lineman beat the offensive lineman, so he's playing catch up by just grabbing him.
I like it. By the way, Josh, are you a first-year official? Okay.
If he's beating his chief.
He said he's beat. The defensive lineman beat the offensive lineman, and now the offensive lineman has to cheat to mitigate. Okay, Dan, did you have a?
I was gonna say it's just it's a whole point of attack, and you wouldn't make attack.
Okay, so yes, sir.
So I'm contrarian. I don't think he's demonstrated a restriction. I think he came right through the offensive lineman, turned his body, and the defender got his hips turned. By the time he resettles his feet, he's completely clear and free to make the tackle. I think the push on the inside. I think on the push on the inside, and then the defender gets through, gets his arm out of the way.
Okay. Anybody else? Bob?
See the whole play. I think this is the last part of it. The initial contact, I thought was fair, and his hands haven't moved a whole lot from where they were when he made the contact.
So what words when we talk? Go ahead. Did you have a comment?
I mean, he's clearly hooked right there. What happened before or after anything? He's got him hooked right there against the run. He's holding it back from the run.
Okay.
It's clear.
So what three words do we use to preface any conversation with the coach? But we'll say, Coach, by rule, that's two words, or in my judgment. Because is this a judgment call?
Yes.
Sure it is. So we say, Coach, by rule, if we want to cite a rule, Coach, in my judgment, if we want to cite judgment. Next slide or next video. All right, now we're going to talk about this before we show it. Who has a foul? Who does not have a foul? Okay, so maybe 70-30. All right, so what do you need to know before, AC, hang on a second. What do you need to know before you even make a judgment about this block? What? The free blocking zone. Now think to yourself, do I know the dimensions of the free blocking zone? If you do not, hang your head and do a little pouty lip at the bottom, because you must. You must know that the free blocking zone is 4 yards wide. 4 yards wide from each side of the football. What must you also know about this player in reference to the free blocking zone? Is he on the line of scrimmage and
part of his body
say it loud.
part of his body within
Is any part of his body in the free blocking zone? Any part. And then, what do you need to know about this player? Wait a minute, before he moves. Is he on the line of scrimmage? And is he in the free blocking zone? Right. So rules underpin your judgment. If you don't know that, you have no business ruling on an illegal block below the waist, right? So that's why we study the rules book. Okay, let's play it. Wait a minute, freeze it for a second, sorry. Okay, how many of you decided that defender was outside of the free blocking zone? All right, so that's valid. How many of you were good in math in high school? Many of you. If I took, go back to the beginning, please, Tim, I apologize. If I took a string, and this was my pivot point, and I ran the string 4 yards, and then I went 4 yards this way with my string, would this player, any part of his body, be in the free blocking?
Yes.
Is it hard to detect that during the game?
Yes.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. So that's one of the reasons why in pregame we shouldn't be smoking and joking, right? In pregame, now this is the guy who we're concerned about. We normally don't see this in pregame. We normally don't see a defender line up in this formation. But in pregame, umpires look at formations, back judges look at formations, look at the formations to try to clue yourself in on what might happen. So if you rule that this guy was completely out of the free blocking zone, you have a foul 100% of the time. Coach, in my judgment, that defender was outside of the free blocking zone. Well, no, he was in it. Coach, in my judgment, he was out. And that's valid, is it not? Sure. Okay, so let's go ahead and play it. All right, so what is the last component of this block? Immediate, right. Immediate action at the snap. And what is the rules interpreter's interpretation of immediate? How many steps?
2.
2 steps, no more than 2. No more than 2. So you've got to know that. Everybody in this room has to know what our rules interpreter has said about what the definition of immediate. Okay? So that's 100% judgment. There are so many components, and if you know all the components, then you get a chance, you have the right to make a judgment. Yes, DJ?
Something about the free blocking zone, we forgot to mention about the ball.
So the ball, in this case, the ball does not matter because it is true when the ball leaves the free blocking zone disintegrates. But because a quarterback in the shotgun formation is often more than 3 yards from the ball, and if we looked at frame by frame, that block didn't happen until the block happened after the ball left. So the ball leaving the free blocking zone is not part of the rule. The part of the rule that we look at is immediate initial action at the snap.
Yeah, that's basically what I was going to say.
Talk loud.
I think that's an older rule because now that the block of the waist has to be immediate, it doesn't really matter where the ball is.
Right. But the ball being in or out of the free blocking zone does matter in other cases, like a block in the back. Or blindside block has a free blocking zone component. That's one of the 4 parts of a blindside block. Okay, next. All right, let's go ahead and watch this. I don't want to spend a ton of time because I've got 10 minutes left. Randy, do I have 10 minutes left?
Yep.
Okay. All right. How many of you thought that this was an illegal block in the back? Raise your hand. How many of you did not think it was an illegal block in the back? So we're at 50-50 again. I think in Mark Bradley's opinion, the flag or no flag of an illegal block in the back is the number 1 missed foul in high school football officiating. The number 1. So what does the rules book say about block in the back? The location. It says what? Inside the shoulder blades and above the waist. Right. Now, what are the axioms? I will always remember Ray Lutz and Mark Van Gampler. What are some of the words that we use to help underpin the rules book? What words? C word. CH word.
CHF.
I don't want to hear what happened over there. Just keep it to yourself. What word? Chaser. Right. Or who has the brick? We have a chaser. What else do we talk about when the blocked player gets blocked? What do we say? How did he fall? Right. So there are other considerations. They're not. Am I talking too loud, Frank? I'm sorry.
It's all right. I lowered mine.
Okay, you loaded your hearing aid. Do not take those as rules. Take them as rules of thumb. How did the block player fall? Was the blocker a chaser? Oh, by the way, could this be a illegal blindside block?
No.
Why? Open hands. If in LA, I know that you spoke too soon, but you need to know that one of the components that says this is not an illegal blindside block is open hands. So now it's your judgment, and we're about 50-50. Was this in the back? And oh, by the way, an officiating standard in the NC2A is one hand could be to the side. If one hand is in the back, providing the pressure, then we have an illegal block in the back. Okay, next. Now this one. I got this off of Facebook, off of one of the NFHS football officiating forums. And I would say about 70% of the officials said this is not a foul. How many of you said this was a foul? How many of you said it wasn't? Okay? Have you changed your mind because we're in slow-mo?
No.
So what is this? Is the defender allowed to hit the quarterback in the head with his helmet?
No.
No. So in Rule 2, there is illegal helmet contact, face tackling, butt blocking, and spearing. And there's also a definition of targeting. So this player is not allowed to strike the quarterback in the head. And I will confess, as a referee, this is one of my biggest blind spots, is seeing helmet-to-helmet contact on a quarterback and on a kicker. I screw that up a lot. So does anybody want to say, after seeing this, that it's not a foul?
So quarterback doesn't have the ball. He's not in a quarterbacking situation. If anything, he's a blocker, and the defender's going through.
Does he have to be a quarterback? Does he have to be a runner or a quarterback to have that be a foul or not?
No.
No. So by rule, and I'll read the rule just so everybody can hear it, is butt blocking is an act by any player who initiates contact against an opponent who is not the runner with the front of his helmet. Is that a foul?
Yes.
Now, are you forgiven if you saw it real time and you didn't see the helmet contact? And you see it on huddle in 2 days or 3 days and you say, how many of you have done this? Oh crap, I missed it. It's me. Yeah. Okay, next. Yes.
Could that quarterback, this position,
Talk loud so everybody can hear you.
could that quarterback not have been construed as a possible runner?
What does the rules book say? It says a player against an opponent. So being a runner or no runner has nothing to do.
In what you read there, it said except for the runner.
So the runner, if it's a runner, then it's also a foul, but it's called face tackling. Yeah. So illegal helmet contact, and God is going to send all of the people who wrote in the tests the butt blocking and illegal helmet contact and spearing definitions. They're going to go to a special place because it's illegal helmet contact, right? Yes, ma'am.
Does it have to be with intent? Like if they're just tackling them, why would that be considered?
That is a great question. That is a great question. Do players wear helmets for a reason? Do players smack helmets together sometimes? Yes. Are tacklers allowed to lead with the helmet? Are blockers allowed to lead with the helmet? Are runners allowed to lead with the helmet? So I would never use the word intent, Sarah, but the purpose of your question, because we can't judge intent, right? Did the runner intend to go out of bounds? We can't judge that. But did the runner or a blocker demonstrate that they were leading with their helmet? The tackler demonstrate I was leading with my helmet instead of executing a legal tackle. Next, okay, here we're going to watch.
I think he's just trying to go through the man to get to the ball, and I don't think there's an intent. I think it's just they're equal-sized people, and they're going to make helmet contact. If we have a flag on every helmet contact, we're throwing flags all night.
He is responsible for what he does with his helmet. And I mean, and this is a judgment thing again. I would judge this as a foul. You would judge it as not. Okay, this one here, go. Sorry, we're not going to get to all of them. I apologize. That's my fault. How many of you had a foul on this play? Yes, you had a foul. Okay. You did have a foul?
I did, but
you were the only one in the room. Okay, go ahead.
Lily had it too.
So what is the coach going to yell about? What are they going to want? They're going to want a face mask. They're going to want a horse collar. They're going to say that looked dangerous, right? So you need to know the components of a face mask. What is the major word when we define face mask? Grasp. That's the major word with face mask. And then for horse collar, you need to know all the components. It is one of the components grabbing the front of no. Right.
On this one, if I was umpire and I was right there, I would see that it's either on the mask or not. Like in those playthroughs, I saw a grasp on the mask. Seeing this, I don't see mask. If I was a wing, I probably would question whether I saw that or not.
Okay. So if we have a flag on the play, do we do the three monkeys where it's like see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil? Or could an official go in and say, what did you see? Describe what you saw. I threw a horse collar before the nameplate rule was put in the rule book. I threw a flag for horse collar tackle during a driving rainstorm down at John Mall High School. And the crew came together and said, no mark. He grabbed the back of the jersey. So we waved it off. So have courage. Good. Next one. All right. Here, let's play it. And we have a flag. How many of you said this is a flag for hurdling? How many of you said it's not? No flag. So the definition of hurdling is feet or feet. Feet or feet. Or knees. What's the next word? What?
Foremost.
Not forward. Foremost over the tackler who has no part of his body other than his feet on the ground. Okay? So here's judgment. Did this player go feet or knees foremost over the tackler? No. Did this player have any part of his body other than?
Yes.
Maybe. I don't know. But this by rule is not a hurdle. And if the coach wants a hurdle, you must be able to define a hurdle. All right. Can I do one more?
Yep.
It's 8 o'clock. We'll do one more. Let's not do this one. Can we do another one? Okay, what was this one? Oh.
Do the last one.
You want this one?
I want the last one.
Okay, this one's going to take more than a couple minutes. Is that okay with everybody? Okay. By the way, there was not kick catching interference because by rule, kick catching interference requires the kicking team member to touch the ball or interfere with R's ability to move forward, bat, or catch that ball. If he catches it, do we have KCI? No. Now, is there a halo rule?
Blocked into the receiver.
So they're all doing this because he was close, but if the receiver caught the ball, no foul. Okay, Tim, do you want to lead this discussion?
Not really.
No. All right. How many of you? Go ahead. Okay, Mr. Van Gampler, from our conversation, would you please? By the way, how many of you have a foul here? Raise your hand. How many of you do not have a foul here? Raise your hand. Okay, Mr. Van Gampler, my mentor, go.
I believe it is roughing the kicker. You certainly give the defense more leeway when it's a rugby style kick. In this, however, at some point they still know it's going to be a kick, and if they know it's a kick and they can lay off, then they have a responsibility to do so. This defender obviously knows it's a kick as he lays out to try and block it, and then he makes contact while he's in the air. I've got roughing the kicker.
Okay. Anybody else other than AC have a comment before I call on AC? Anybody else?
Anyone?
Okay, sir.
So I would agree with that, except I think the kicker LeBron's into the defender who's already in the air. So
it's the kicker's responsibility to avoid the defender while he's
I think
kicking?
it's the kicker's responsibility to kick into the defender to try to draw a foul. And so I just
so the kicker kicked into the defender to try to draw the foul.
He's already left. He's already in motion. I'm saying he's blocking.
Oh, okay.
I think it's just careless.
Okay.
Did he touch the ball?
So he didn't touch the ball. One of the keys here is, one of our axioms is we give more grace during a rugby style kick or during a broken play, but giving more grace does have its limits. So you can't give grace to say, hey, it's rugby style, anything goes. So we still, and this is judgment. George, can you tell me how you ruled on this? And don't lie because you already ruled on it. He wants to see the contact.
Yeah.
You like that as a roughing? That's not what you said last year, but that's okay.
He's learning. He's learning.
He's learning, yes. Okay, so, yes, sir.
Is part of the grace?
Talk loud.
Is part of the grace because the rugby style kick make you like running into the kicker instead of roughing?
The question was, is part of the grace running into a roughing? In Mark Bradley's opinion, the answer is no. That's a separate, roughing or running into. And by the way, George has some great articles where he talks about, the planting of the feet and what is the physical, what am I trying to say? What is this? Yeah, how the kicker looks when he's hit. All right, so Tim, did you have a flag on this?
I did not.
And what was your?
In the moment, it was giving leeway to the defense on this rugby style kick, and it felt reasonably within the time frame where I would give that leeway.
And do you change your opinion now?
No, I don't.
Okay, so here's the punchline. I'm glad you said that. As football officials, we need to give ourselves grace. And as long as we have studied the rules book and we know what our mechanics manual says, and we know the officiating standards and the axioms, and we're able to voice all of those components, we get the opportunity to have whatever judgment. Correct? I would ask you to have a conversation with somebody. And I would ask you to have the conversation with an open mind. And I appreciate it that nobody in this room got butthurt. Nobody in this room got angry. At least maybe you were screaming inside, But we were all professional with each other, and that is a big part of allowing ourselves to have different judgments. So please find somebody or a group of people to be able to have these conversations, because we can't get better if we don't look at video and have these kinds of conversations.
Amen.
Go ahead, Chris.
One last thing. I would say a lot of these plays are the kind of plays in real time. You aren't going to know that it's a foul, even if you have the rules knowledge and the judgment. And I would argue that on many of these, you should probably pass on because you didn't know that was a foul.
Did everybody hear the comment? Okay, AC, I'm going to charge you extra for this extra comment.
So
Go ahead.
I agree with you in my heart. However, I've been in enough situations where worst case scenario looks like a foul, and you're confident that it's a foul, flag it. Worst that can happen is you get it waved off.
Okay, I'm sorry I went over, Randy.
All right.
Does anybody have to go to the bathroom?
Thanks to Mark for putting this together. Thank you, Mark. Great presentation. That's why he's our training director. Okay, that's it for tonight. We have 50-50 drawing in the back.